Hi everyone, welcome back to this series of PMP practice questions, direct from the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. And we're up to the last little section here. We've nearly done 150 questions, or this will be the last 10 to get to 150 questions if you've been following since the beginning. It's a huge amount of questions and a really great way to prepare for your exam. Scenario-based questions and also going through from start to finish, learning a lot about the PMBOK Guide. It's a wonderful way to do it. Let's get into these questions. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. Your Agile project has recently been merged into a larger program, and the program manager is reviewing how the project is tracking. She asks you how much has been completed in design, but also how much has been completed in development, testing, and sign-off. What will you do next? Okay, I think this is, in Agile, there's a few different ways we can do this. So show her the sprint Kanban board. That could work. Obviously, we've got the different phases. So we've got the backlog, then we've got, whatever phases you want to put on your Kanban board. So you've got potentially requirements, maybe design, maybe sign off or testing, something similar. Anyway, whatever it is you choose. So you could see all of the cards, but that would usually just be for one sprint. So depending on how we're managing the project, let's see what else we've got just in case. Take her through the team product backlog. So that would be the backlog of work, but it won't show at which phase everything is in necessarily. So let's put a no for now. Show her the team cumulative flow diagram. Okay, so cumulative flow diagram is like a line graph, but it shows each phase. So maybe we've got all of these ones down the bottom here, and that's in design, and that's been completed. And then we've got in development, and then in test, and then in sign off. And so overall, that's all of the stuff. But here are the little different sections and where they've been completed and how much has been completed. So that is actually pretty good. That's not just for a sprint. That's over the whole project as well. So or for the whole product. So I think that's pretty good, that one. Let's see what else just in case. Show her the team velocity chart. Well, that'll just be the velocity chart. So how much velocity, 50 points, for example, in on average in a sprint. That's not for each little section. So I think for our purposes, let's go with answer C. All right, wonderful. A cumulative flow diagram indicates features completed over time, separated at each stage, such as features in the backlog, then design, development, testing, and more. PMBOK 7th edition, page 188 under cumulative flow diagram. Really getting into these diagrams and artifacts in the PMBOK Guide as well. So this is great. Obviously we're getting through it, getting near the end of the book. So that's really good news. How did you guys go with that one? Let's see what we've got next. The features developed by your Agile team have added some complexity to your website, delivered quickly with no time to refactor the code. So it's a bit messy code perhaps. It hasn't been refactored, hasn't been cleaned up and made nice. You believe the user stories are moving slower now as a result, but you can't be sure. What will you do next? Okay, how do we know if and when user stories are moving slower as a result? Do we check the velocity is sort of for the whole team? Check the cycle time of the chart of the team. That actually sounds pretty good. Cycle time is time to complete one item. So just from when we start developing to finish developing, or cycle time for testing, start testing and finish testing. That's the cycle time of testing that card. So that is actually pretty good. That's your user story cycle time. Lead time is from the time the customer makes the order or the item goes into the backlog at the very, very beginning to all the way through to the time that it is delivered to the customer. So that's the full range, and you've got multiple different cycle times in between that. So that's there. So what else have we got? I mean, that's pretty good. I think that could be the one. Shadow the developers to overview the work that they're doing. I don't think that's going to give us the answers we need. View the product roadmap for proposed release dates. I don't think that's going to give us the user story, how long they're taking. Review the points in the sprint backlog versus the last 3 sprints velocity. That could give us a bit of an idea of how the team is tracking as a whole, but not just for the individual story cards. So for our purposes, I think let's go with answer A. All right, excellent work. A cycle time chart shows the average cycle time of the work items completed over time. It can be a scatter diagram or a bar chart. Actually, and usually it has, if you've got days, so 10 days, for example, 0 days here, and an item's completed here, here. It's sort of a scatter chart, and then it will usually give you a bit of an average over time. So that's your cycle time of all of those user stories. And again, many programs will have that information that you can extract a chart from pretty well. All right, that's pretty good. We must be getting into the charts and artifacts section of the PMBOK guide now, I think. So, this is good to be going through. You're working on an Agile project with a full product roadmap for the next 6 months. Your project team are not sure what the next feature does or how they should turn it into user stories. What will you do next? Okay, so we've got product roadmap of features. How do we turn that into user stories? And we're not sure what the feature does as well. So that is a clue, I think, for us. So review the scope baseline. The scope baseline would just sort of, maybe not on an Agile project either, so I think that's not a great answer. Story mapping with your team is where we take the features, we break them down into usable parts, and then into parts that we can actually deliver, again, into user stories. So story mapping, breaking it down, it's like a work breakdown structure in a way, but based on the usability of a product. So that shows us what the feature does and also how to turn it into user stories. So that's actually pretty good. Sprint planning with your team, we need those user stories to go into the sprint plan, so we can't do that yet. Perform a retrospective with your team. At the end of the retrospective, then we check in and we ask what went well, what didn't go well, what's still puzzling me, what have I learned, and we take any actions for anything that's not going well, and we try and solve them and problem solve them with the team. But that's not what we want here. I think let's go with answer B. All right, wonderful work. A story map is a visual model of all of the features and functionality desired for a given product, created to give the project team a holistic view of what they're building and why. It can also break the feature down into user stories based on functionality. Page 190 under Story Map in the PMBOK Guide, 7th edition. Excellent work, guys. How did you go with that one? That was pretty good. We're really getting into those artifacts, so that's really good stuff. And we're getting through these questions really well. You're a program manager on a large-scale Agile program where each project team has its own Scrum Master. You need to know the rate at which work is flowing through each team so you can see if there are any blockers or issues and whether they will remain on track. What will you do next? Okay, so the rate of work for each team, so that could be good. Raise your query at Scrum of Scrums so each team knows what they need to do. I wonder if there's a better answer there. Do we know what we need to do? I think maybe we can come with some information there. Let's put a low maybe on that one. Attend the sprint review of each team at the end of each sprint. That could work. Yep, I mean, that will show what was completed, I suppose, but will it give us the rate of work? Maybe not. It's just a demonstration. Review the schedule management plan for managing the schedule. So that's the process of what we're going to do to manage the schedule. I don't think that's appropriate to show us the rate of work. So I hope answer D is a better one because none of these are any really good at the moment. Review the team velocity charts, that could work. And what was committed versus what was completed. We said we'd do 50 points and we got 47, pretty good. And now our average is 45, so we commit to 45. We managed to do 47 again, so that sort of thing. That's your velocity chart. Goes over time, and each sprint has what was committed versus what was completed. I think that's probably going to be our best answer to show the rate of work. Let's go with answer D. All right, excellent work. The velocity chart tracks the rate at which deliverables are produced, validated, and accepted within a predefined interval, like a sprint, for example. Page 190 under velocity chart in the PMBOK guide. And we've nearly made it to the halfway point, so you've done an amazing job. And then after that, only 5 to go. Let's keep going. We're getting through this really well. Your project has been executing for the past 5 months, and due to an organizational change, a new project sponsor has come on board. Okay, what's going to happen here? He asks where the project is up to and whether it's on track. You tell him, but he wants more information. What will you do next? Okay. What can we do here? Show him the signed project charter. Okay. Well, that's sort of taking it back to the beginning of the project, isn't it? Where we kick off the project to ensure that he honors the original agreement. I think we need like a status. We need to know where the project's up to, actually. So let's put a no for now. Show him the project management plan, including the schedule management plan. Now again with this, while it will have some information in it, it's more about the process. So that's the process of how we're going to manage these things, the schedule and how we're going to manage the project and all of those things that go into the project. So there will be some information in that. It's probably going to be a lot, maybe too much. Plus it's more about the process of managing on how we're going to do it. So that's okay, but let's see if there's something better. Review the status report. Okay, that's promising. And previous status report with the sponsor. Okay, so we've got the previous one and then we've got this one as well. So we can see how it's actually going. You know, is it the same? Is it still on track? Did it go way off track? Is it getting better? You know, that actually is good for whether the project is on track or not. Usually you'll have red, amber, and green. They call it RAG status. You know, how is the project tracking? Or maybe you'll have some variance information in there. Maybe we're 100,000 below budget or something similar. So I think that actually could be our one. Invite him to the next sprint review so he can see the progress made. We don't see an Agile project here specifically, so you know, that's not bad. But I think whether it's on track or not, that will show us a piece of progress, but not all the progress. So let's go with answer C. Excellent work. The status report provides a report on the current status of the project. It may include information on progress since the last report and forecasts for cost and schedule performance in the future as well. Page 190, reports, status report in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Great work, guys. How did you guys go with that? That was pretty good. I think, you know, we're able to eliminate some of those answers there that don't really fit. So we're doing a good job. And we're also more than halfway through now, so let's keep going. Your Agile project needs a third-party vendor to help complete the work. The product owner has multiple features on their roadmap. Excellent work. Which may change over time. Excellent. They might be reprioritized, for example. Making the scope of your project uncertain. Okay, so we're dealing, so we've got a vendor and we've got uncertain scope in an Agile project. So how do we manage that in an Agile project? What do we do next? Okay, ask your product owner to fix the features and scope so the project is more certain. Well, that wouldn't really fit an Agile project then. I think maybe there's a better answer here. Create a cost plus incentive fee contract with your procurement team. Goodness, these are actually quite tricky. That's not bad. Incentive fee with your procurement team, that definitely could work. They're charging us what it will cost, no matter what the cost is. And then there's an incentive fee, usually based on a few factors, like do they get it delivered quickly or that sort of thing. So we can put those into the contract. So I mean, that's not bad. Then if the cost goes up or down, depending on the new features, could work. Let's put a maybe for now. Create a firm fixed price contract with your procurement team. I think that will be very difficult because you know, everything is changing over time. So it's probably not fair to us or to the vendor to have a firm fixed price for a firm scope and a firm price. Let's put a no for now. Use the external vendor funding to create a project team in-house and complete the project. Wow, okay. You know, definitely, so Agile, part of Agile is the whole team approach where we're trying to bring everyone into the project team. So do we go with the whole team approach, try and bring the vendor in-house, or do we work with an Agile-centric procurement contract, which will work based on the cost and an incentive fee to keep them happy? I think probably the easiest way at the moment would be to do the contract. We don't know if we can actually bring an external vendor in-house. So, you know, there's all sorts of complexities around that. It could get very messy. I think the simplest, easiest way, still Agile-centric. Let's go with answer B. Okay, all right. That was pretty lucky. They were both good, those answers. Let's see if it gives us any tips here. Cost reimbursable contracts involve payments to the seller for actual costs incurred for completing the work plus a fee representing seller profit. They are used when the scope is not well defined or subject to frequent change. Well, there's our clue. Includes cost plus award fee, fixed fee or incentive fee. Page 191 under cost reimbursable contracts in the PMBOK guide. Okay, that was pretty good. So really good to work through, definitely after that contract information. So that was good to know as well. How did you guys go with that one? It was pretty tricky. And we've only got 4 to go, so you're doing great. Let's keep going. Your project is releasing a number of upgrades to a commercial building over the next 12 months. Material costs have changed a lot recently. Okay, you need to budget for the materials required. However, the volume of materials may change significantly as the project evolves. What will you do next? All right, so, and again, I think we're starting to get into that procurement stage, so contracts and vendors and that sort of thing. So how do we deal with contracts and vendors from a PMBOK guide perspective? So, I mean, there are a few contracts here. Create a firm fixed price contract for the materials. But that indicates that we would know exactly how much we need. So we need this much and we're going to pay this much, and it's firm and it's fixed, but it's going to change for us. So we can't put that one for now. Ensure a sole supplier for your materials, or ensure multiple suppliers for your materials. So between those two, while this one could work, it's not going to solve the problem of having, that we might need more, and then the price might change as well. So that's going to get us. But I think this one here, so IDIQ, and this is a type of contract, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. So we can have an indefinite delivery time frame that we choose and put into the contract, and an indefinite quantity. So the quantity can go up and up and up and up and up. It can change, it doesn't matter, but we put that at that certain price over the next 12 months for us, for example. I think that's probably the contract that we would want to go with under this circumstance. Let's try answer A. Okay, excellent. Indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity provides for an indefinite quantity of goods or services with a stated lower and upper limit, which is good, and within a fixed time period. So that's also good. Fixed price will work better if the quantities are known. So that's really good to know as well. Page 191 under Agreements and Contracts in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. How did you guys go with that one? That could be a new contract for some of us, but all of these things will be good to know. They might pop up in the exam, different types, and just when are we going to use them, what circumstances. All right, let's see what we've got next. You've completed a make or buy analysis, and you agreed to hire a third-party vendor, looks like we're really doing vendors here, to complete part of your product. You create the statement of work and have a list of acceptable sellers that will meet the source selection criteria. Okay, so statement of work, we know what we need to deliver. We have the sellers that we need that can deliver for us, so that's good. The work is not complex, that's even better, and they understand the scope. So everyone understands it, it's pretty straightforward. It's business as usual, potentially. What do we do next? Send a request for proposal. Well, they may not need to do a proposal because it's not too complex, it's pretty straightforward. Request for information from the sellers. If we already have their information, we already have a list of acceptable sellers. So that's actually pretty good. We're fine with both of those. Request for quotation. If it's pretty straightforward, maybe we just need a price. So that could be quite good. Hold a bidders conference to ensure all sellers are on the same page. Again, I think we have that list of acceptable sellers, so we're pretty good there. For our purposes, I think it's straightforward enough that we can just get a quote for a price. Let's go with answer C. Okay, excellent work. The bid documents are used to request proposals from prospective sellers. The best answer here is request for quote, as we have the requirements ready. Request for proposal is used when the item is complex. Request for information is when more information is needed. Bidder conference is used to ensure all sellers have enough information. Page 192, bid documents in the PMBOK guide. Okay, we're really getting through this, and we've only got 2 questions to go. How did you go with that one? We're certainly into this procurement and vendors part of the PMBOK guide, that's for sure. So lots of really good information we're getting here. Okay, last 2, let's do this. Your project is new and the team have just come on board. There have been multiple disagreements and the work is slow as they try to understand where they fit in the project and the team. What will you do next? Okay, and this is one of those team engagement things. I think we've been through this a few times. So where they fit with the project and the team. Project charter kicks off the project. Definition of ready shows what an item needs to have on it before it can be worked on by the next person or started work. It's when it's ready. Project management plan is our whole project management plan for all of our schedules, scope, cost, but it doesn't show people where they fit into the project. The team charter shows us our team vision, our mission, our roles and responsibilities, and ways to manage conflict and any other ways of working for our team. I think that's going to be our best answer. Let's go with answer D. Excellent work. The project team charter records the team values, agreements, and operating guidelines. It establishes clear expectations regarding acceptable behavior by the project team members. Page 192, Project Team Charter. And you did it. You've made it to the last question. Let's do this. Hopefully it's not too hard because you deserve a nice easy one after all of this work. Let's see what we have. You've created a high-level view of the features your project will deliver and prioritize them. Prioritized, product, backlog, as we know. The development team is ready to start work, but they don't know where to start as the information is too high level. These features are too high level. We need to break them down. What will you do next? Okay. Ask the team to begin with the highest priority item first. Well, we need to get more information. Maybe decompose them, break them down a little bit. Help the team break the features down, that sounds promising, into user stories to place in a sprint. So this one, now we've broken it down into similar to work packages, items that a person can work on, and we take this much and that goes into the next sprint because that's how much we can deliver. I think that's probably pretty good. Hold a retrospective with the team to understand what's blocking them. That will happen after the sprint, after we've started. Reprioritize the features into an order that makes sense for the developers. It's too high level, so that's not going to solve our problem. We definitely need to break it down. Let's go with answer B. Okay, wonderful. A user story is a brief description of an outcome for a specific user. It has enough information at a level which team members can work on that item. Page 192, other artifacts, user story. And 192 must be close to the end of the PMBOK guide because we have reached the end of this little question set. And unless I add any more, you've done an amazing job. 150 questions is a huge achievement. Not only that, but I truly believe with this effort and dedication that you definitely can pass the PMP exam. I truly do believe in you, and I know that when you do it, it will help your career and your life so much. It's a truly wonderful thing to have, and I know you can do it. I hope to see you in the next couple of videos, and bye for now.